Welcome to the Healthcare Training Funds and Programs segment of our video discussion series. I'm Felicia Barbara, Business Specialist focusing on the healthcare sector at the Pikes Peak Workforce Center. In El Paso County, the largest number of job postings are in the healthcare field. And today we have two expert panelists to help us understand a lot more about healthcare training funds and programs in Colorado. Mary Chavez is the Dean of Health, Professions and Public Safety at Pueblo Community College. Ms. Chavez has been with Pueblo Community College for over 25 years and has been in the role of Dean for 5. She has been instrumental in developing several educational opportunities that enhance the hands-on learning of students pursuing health and first responder careers. Thanks so much for being with us today, Ms. Chavez.
Thank you.
Our other panelist this morning is Ms. Tara Bell. Currently, Ms. Bell is the Program Director for Health Science and Public Safety at the Colorado Community College system. That's like the whole system, okay? Not only does Ms. Bell hold a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, she also taught high school health science for over 7 years. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Ms. Bell is committed to providing industry-approved curriculum and resources for health science and public safety teachers in Colorado. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So our first question today is going to be for you experts. What are your biggest challenges associated with training in the healthcare workforce?
Some of our challenges, and the two primary ones, are having qualified faculty and clinical sites for our health professions. Those are some of the biggest challenges to meeting that. We have accreditation standards for our programs, whether it's nursing or allied health, that stipulate what the education requirement is, and that education requirement is, as a rule, higher than what it takes to practice as a nurse or to practice as a physical therapist assistant. And so finding the qualified faculty and then also having enough clinical sites.
Wow. So that's a tremendous bottleneck there.
Yes.
So
yes.
Am I understanding then that you have to have more education to teach than it would be to actually to work in the profession?
Yeah, so for an example, we have an associate degree nurse RN program. And so our nurses, our student nurses, they graduate with an associate degree and can practice as an RN. But to be a full-time faculty member, they need to have a master's degree in nursing.
And how do the wages compare between working in the profession with a master's degree and then teaching with a master's degree?
Well, as a rule, the industry working in the profession pays more than education does.
Oh my goodness. So your educators, what kind of folks are they?
They're people very dedicated to education. And you know, education's not for everybody, but our faculty are very dedicated to education, and they want to help grow the healthcare providers in their community and in their area, because we're consumers of the healthcare also. And so we do really have a dedicated faculty to work with our students.
So am I to understand then they're doing it from their heart because they think it's the right thing to do?
Well, they do get paid. It's just not quite the same. But yes, they really have a desire to educate.
Okay. And Ms. Bell, in your opinion, what are the major challenges that are facing training in healthcare professions?
Depending on what we talk about, secondary or post-secondary education, it differs a little bit. With secondary education, it is exposing students to healthcare careers, exposing them earlier rather than their junior and senior year. We want them to have as many opportunities in high school to determine what they want to do in their post-secondary education. And then, like Mary said, with the post-secondary education, we have a hard time finding qualified faculty to come teach our students. And so it's just, we have the need and we have the desire. Sometimes it's just not a seamless transition from that high school to the post-secondary education.
In general, how do high school students, how do they determine what kind of healthcare career they might like to go into?
It's all on exposure. It really depends. We vary a lot in Colorado. Some of our schools, we have a great academy in Colorado Springs that offers a health academy from 9th through 12th grade. So students are looking to see what type of health profession they may want to do starting in 9th grade. Some of our other programs don't start till the junior or senior year.
Wow.
To me, the very best thing would be is all comprehensive high schools in Colorado to have at least an introductory course to health careers, just to give students some, to show them what is out there, because there's a whole lot of careers out there that students aren't aware of. Their experience may only be going to the doctor, and so they may see a great medical assistant, check them in, but assume that person is a nurse. And so we really need to educate our students at an earlier age, so we know, so they are more educated when they go into a healthcare profession.
So with healthcare being one of with there being so much demand for people in those professions, how then, do we have enough training programs in Colorado to take advantage of all the people that might want to get into those healthcare careers?
Go ahead.
As far as number of training programs, there may be some areas we could have more. I really think the way education, and when I'm looking at Southern Colorado and in the Pueblo region with Pueblo Community College, we have a lot of training programs. You know, we offer nursing and several of the allied health. But I think we need to be able to expand the number of students that we accept and then the number of students that we graduate. And again, that falls back to qualified faculty and clinical sites.
Okay.
And just as a little more of a broad view for all of Colorado, it really depends on the region or the sector, what is most in demand within that region. Industry has been guiding us as to what we need, and so as an educational piece, we've been listening to industry and starting new programs, redoing our programs to match industry. That's just something that we like to keep on top of, because industry should be guiding what we do in education.
Now, I've heard both you and Ms. Chavez mention, almost focus on the engagement of industry with education. How pivotal is that to producing graduates that are able to find employment?
It's the number one thing. Industry has to drive the education, and we have to be responsive to what industry needs. Industry also helps us with those clinical sites. To me, having students do clinicals is a win-win for both. A lot of times our students are hired within that facility where they do their clinicals, and so the people that within that hospital or within the long-term care facility or wherever they may go, they can actually see that student at work and can determine to hire them or not.
And is there a secret to getting more clinical sites then?
Well, you know, and I can talk again about the Pueblo area. We have very strong support of our industry partners there. I mean, our students are in clinicals, and they support us in a lot of ways other than just giving us clinical sites. But I think as education and industry working together, we may just have to look at things a little bit differently. So instead of a traditional daytime program, maybe we need to have a weekend program. Maybe we need to cover in evenings more. Maybe we need to change some of our offerings so that we can use clinical sites in times where it's not quite so busy, instead of the key times that not only us, but other colleges, especially in rural Southern Colorado. So some of our rural colleges also need to come to the Pueblo hospitals because the hospitals in their areas aren't large enough to offer some of the things that the students need exposure to. So really working together with industry and also other colleges, and maybe we need to look at a different format of how we deliver the education.
Something that we've been talking about in Colorado are apprenticeships. And apprenticeships in healthcare would give education and what industry needs a new look. And that would be in major partnership with the industry, where on the college side they would teach all of the theory, and then for the clinicals per se, they would actually be working within the facility. And so that's just something that we're looking into that might help alleviate some of the clinical site shortages.
So I've heard a lot about apprenticeships, but very little about apprenticeships within the healthcare sector. Is this a new area for apprenticeships to move into, or are there currently some apprenticeships already in practice?
In Colorado, it is very new. Other states, it has been in practice for quite a while now. So it's there and it works, but I think in Colorado, we'll start seeing it more in the rural areas because that's where the tighter partnerships are, per se. And then hopefully once that in the metro area or in the more urban areas, they see it being successful, hopefully it will move into more of that, to more of a greater area within the state.
So having the luxury of two experts at the table, I've always wanted to know, is there a central repository of somewhere where you can find out about all of the training programs or of a specific path that one might take if, I don't know, I'm in high school and I think maybe I would like to become a doctor or a radiological technician?
We do have what we call the Common Course Numbering System within the Colorado Community College system. And there is a website that does list all of our training programs. It's not as user-friendly as we'd like it to be. The very best place as of right now would be for our students to go to the individual colleges' websites. They have all of the information about all of their programs on the website. Some programs aren't offered at every school, like down in Pueblo, they have an amazing surgical tech program, and that is our one and only right now within our 13 colleges.
Wow.
It's something that we're expanding, but if a student is looking to be a surgical tech, that is a great place to go.
Congratulations, Pueblo.
Thank you.
So ladies, thank you so much for your expertise as it regards challenges. What kinds of opportunities, or if you had a wish list, what would you, how would you enhance the training programs or the training system in Colorado?
If I had a wish list.
A magic wand. If you would.
If I had a wish list, I'd have qualified faculty knocking down on our doors, wanting to teach. I'd also not have to struggle with clinical placements, and we'd have plenty of space to add additional cohorts of students. So enough lab space and simulation space where they can practice, and so that would, I guess, would probably be my wish list.
And is the bottleneck always funding for making those wishes come true?
Funding's definitely a big part of it. So, I mean, as far as expanding space and adding qualified faculty, I mean, we need them, but then we also need to have the funding to be able to support them. Again, we do have great partnerships where we have several of our facilities actually help us, especially with nursing faculty as far as paying some of their salaries. But you know, it definitely, there's funding tied to it, and some of it's space. I mean, there's no doubt that we have space restrictions, and then again, to expand space or to do remodel construction to improve your space also takes funding.
Okay. And I'm going to give the same magic wand to you.
My wish list starts in middle school.
Middle school.
Would love to see middle school programs of career exploration in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then once a student gets to high school, letting them have the opportunity to be exposed to health careers, starting with 9th grade all the way through 12th grade, letting them start a pathway, letting them choose, if I want to be a nurse, this is my pathway. I'm taking this class, this class, this class, and then I have a seamless transition into college. So that's my wish list, is exposing students earlier and letting them have a seamless transition.
I know from the point of view of the workforce center and the workforce system in general, healthcare careers are such, there's so much, there's a lot of effort to help people get into those careers because you can get a sustainable wage. And there's also the opportunity to matriculate within that career. As far as career ladders or career pathways, is there anything official going on in the state that would clearly define what a career path or career ladder might look like?
We do. We have legislation that has been put in. 2 years ago it was for manufacturing, and then a year ago they added in healthcare, IT, and construction to do official pathways.
Oh, wow.
And so it is in motion. And again, those pathways are stemming from middle school all the way through post-secondary education. And so yeah, It is there, and one of the goals is to have multiple entrance and exit points of education, so a student can get a certificate, start to work, go back in and move higher and have a career ladder. And so we're not stopping at one profession, we're showing them where they can go to have a fulfilling career.
Wow, that's really good news for the state of Colorado.
Yes,
then.
it is. It's great.
And with these career ladders, do they apply, are we looking primarily at young adults that are entering the career system, or for maybe adults and people that are trying to change careers midlife?
Both.
Both.
It is for those students that are just beginning their high school careers, all the way through those just starting college, incumbent workers, veterans. So they're focusing on a lot of different populations, because it's just not one type of person that needs that help, that pathway. So any student.
Wonderful. Okay. Ladies, you're obviously the experts here. Are there any final words that you would like to share with our audience about healthcare training programs?
I think we definitely, our society, as the healthcare shortage, I think, is going to continue to grow for quite a few years as some of the baby boomers are aging, and so we're living longer, and we definitely need healthcare providers out there. And so with industry, and Tara mentioned quite a few times, industry is number one to be a part of that. And it really is. It's important that we work with industry, our education, and also our local workforce, because they help us a lot with working with students, sometimes scholarshiping students, helping us with supporting the student needs. And so really everyone pulling in together so that we can meet the healthcare needs of our communities is very important.
Thank you.
And again, I'm very indebted to industry, because like Mary said, they have helped us so much, and they guide our training programs, and they do help our students. They give them the clinical experience. And it's not only our post-secondary that has clinical experiences, our secondaries, our high schools also have clinical experiences. And so industry has been wonderful to help us. And we just look forward to industry to keep leading us in where we need to go. And hopefully, our training programs will become greater, and we'll be able to offer more and allow for our healthcare workforce to be where it should be in Colorado.
Well, ladies, thank you so much. I know I feel extremely confident that the future of our healthcare careers is going to be in very good hands with these two ladies at the helm. Now we're going to turn the conversation over to you. Hopefully you're sitting somewhere as part of a brown bag lunch and learn, and you've heard some of the critical questions that have been brought up today. The shortage of educators, the disparity about the funds that they can make between being in the profession and then actually teaching that profession. Are there things that we can do to kind of remedy some of those things and introducing young adults to careers earlier in their educational path? Thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a pleasure.